Okay, everybody's got headphones now? Mine are nice and warm. Warm day. They've been in the car. Greg's got the ones I was using. Andrew's got the ones Greg uses.
I've got the ones Greg gave me for Christmas.
Don't anybody break them.
All good.
Then we're in trouble again. Then we can't have full participation.
It's hard to have a radio show.
We'll talk more about Brett Favre. Larry Felser will join us today to talk about Jack Kemp. We'll have Greater Buffalo Sports Hall of Fame Rejection Committee meeting and another surprise or two. Plus, when we get near the end, we'll talk about tonight's two Eastern Conference NHL playoff matchups. Carolina and Pittsburgh are the home teams. Right now, it's time for 10 opinions in a row.
Coming up next.
You heard at home chanting, "Let's go East."
Another 10 opinions in a row.
The kids eat it on it. They have it melted on popsicles, my kids. It's ridiculous.
Cheese-sicles?
Yeah.
With Mike Schopp and the Bulldog.
It's awful.
Cheesicles?
Yeah.
Brought to you by Glenn Campbell Chevy Suzuki Williamsville.
Watching a little bit before the hockey started and then intermittently during the intermissions, the Red Sox and Yankees last night, and it was pouring again in the Bronx at New Yankee Stadium, and the Red Sox beat the Yankees. I would think that looking at the price of tickets in this way, if I paid so much to get to a sporting event that I was reluctant to leave even though I was more than likely miserable, that's way too much money. I think those fans are sitting there, and we talked about it yesterday, the controversy about Yankee employees told fans the game was going to be postponed, and then it wasn't postponed. I don't want to sit in the rain for that long. Like that game never stopped, it just kept going, but it was steadily raining for a good long while in that game. I think like the fifth or sixth inning on to the end. So, a good hour or so. And it just didn't. Cold, windy, raining. And I just thought, I would never want to feel like I paid so much that I can't leave. Because sitting there just didn't look like any kind of fun. It's the Red Sox and Yankees, and it's the new Yankee Stadium, and that sounds great. But sitting there in the rain and 45 degrees and windy, no kind of fun.
Two opinions from the Vancouver-Chicago game. One is that I think the winner of that series is going to the finals. I think Detroit and Anaheim are at a different level in terms of the physical side of the game. They are beating each other to a pulp, those two teams. And neither team is really young. Detroit is the favorite. Now, of course, they're behind in the series, but I just think whoever wins that series will come out damaged. And Vancouver and Chicago looks like a very different kind of series. It looks much more like the regular season looks. Vancouver playing its defense. When it goes right, it looks like last night did. Everybody's covered all the time. I think there's an acquired taste, but that was a beautiful thing to watch. The third period, the way Vancouver played it in that game last night. Far less hitting. Some, not none, but far less. I expect Chicago-Vancouver, the winner, to go to the finals. The other thing is, and I said this a week or two ago when I thought of it then, and I thought of it again last night. Maybe it's after every time he scores. I fear that the Sabres really blundered about Steve Bernier. We get lots of calls through the years from people who claim that there are all these players who left the Bills or left the Sabres that are doing great, and there just really aren't. Neither team can be held accountable for having failed so often that they have all these ex-players on other teams who are bad mistakes by the team, that they obviously have this terrible front office, whatever it is. I don't think it's there. The Sabres, obviously, some big names have left. Those were good players before they got here. Drury, Briere, they're good players here. They're good players after. That's not quite what I mean. Bernier is a guy that I think should still be on this team. They traded a big-time commodity to get him, and then they gave up on him quickly. I don't exactly know why he was given up on that quickly, except for they weren't impressed with his work ethic. Well, he's young. That sometimes takes effort. That sometimes takes some patience, and the Sabres just did not give him that. I sense he didn't have a big year numbers-wise. I sense that he's a great fit with Vancouver. They don't have a lot of big forwards.
No.
They have a couple, but the guys that play his role, I mean, they have some size, but they don't have a lot of guys who are like Bernier. And he fits in there. He should have fit in here.
Yeah. I totally agree with that. I totally agree with that. And even the first part of it, Vancouver and Chicago, there's some nasty stuff, but it's not that Anaheim-Detroit series. And last night, I watched that thing start to finish. It's like every check, every
Brutal.
play is just there's a price being paid and a toll being exacted. It is, it's tough. It's a tough series, and Vancouver looked like a smart pick. Another thing on the Red Sox from last night, and really just so far on the year, I think it would be reasonable to start really wondering about whether or not David Ortiz is finished. No home runs yet. 102 at-bats so far this year. 0 home runs. And he's batting .225, 14 runs batted. It's not an awful total, but it's, it's like 6th or 7th on his team. And it's not to me so much about Manny's not there anymore because Jason Bay's doing just fine, and Youkilis is one of the most dangerous hitters to start the year, and he's batting 4th now behind Ortiz. The bat speed, maybe he'll find it. I don't know, but his ability to work counts after watching him his entire career at the Red Sox, he had tons of at bats that would go like this: big swing, strike 1, big swing, strike 2. And then he just worked the count and wait for you to make a mistake and then hammer it. Just hammer it. And I just don't think he can be as discerning because the bat speed isn't there. So, he'll get his hits. I'm sure eventually he'll get his home runs. But I don't think he's anywhere near ready to be the force he's been for that team. I think he might be shot.
I'll tell you what, and I was just getting ready to say this before I saw in this Champions League semifinal Barcelona score a goal in injury time to tie it up against Chelsea. I was going to say this anyway. I was waiting for you to stop to say it, that soccer, as I guess popular as it is to make fun of it, it can be awesome. Whether you watch a goal being set up and then scored, the climax of that. There are some elements of soccer that are just wonderful. And I am getting to like the idea of really following European soccer more each day. And I will say I have these phases once in a while. When it's this time of year, the Champions League comes down to it, and I get the same kind of thoughts. But I really should follow this sport. It's on when I'm home. In the mornings, on the weekends, I want to watch sports, and that's what's on. And in 2009, with DirecTV, you can actually watch live games. England, Spain, Germany, France, Italy, they're all on.
Don't have to stay up till 1:30, 2 o'clock in the morning to watch the game you really want to see like I did last night.
Yes,
nice.
All the while fearing, what do I do if the game actually goes to overtime?
Right.
Yeah, that's part of it. I think it can be a beautiful game. I don't think it's boring. And as I'm getting older, I'm starting to think I'll end up more and more of a soccer fan as I mature. This game today, the game yesterday,
last 2 days,
phenomenal, high level.
But spectacular goals the last 2 days that we've been sitting here watching. So this is why, by the way, I don't play fantasy sports. I don't know if you've just given up on this or even checked it at all. It hasn't come up on the show at all.
I give up.
The Facebook baseball thing. Greg, have you even looked at your team?
You can't. They tell me what I did that week, and I click on it to see it, and it says this page does not open.
Oh,
so I can't.
See, I've got mine, but here's my thing. Like I didn't. Josh Hamilton has been out for how long? Like he hasn't played in like 10 days. I think I didn't do anything to my line. He's still hurt. He's not on the DL, but he's not playing. I don't. I got like 20. I have like 20 points or something for the week.
You're throwing money
away.
away.
Guys are hurt. I just happen to think like, oh, I should check that. I did that. I have a fantasy baseball team. Yeah, not so much.
You're throwing your money away.
Well,
I'm done with it.
Yeah,
it was free.
Yeah, it was free.
I have an idea about the extra innings baseball package that you can buy. I should have brought this up after you mentioned the Red Sox. I mentioned it to Greg the other day. Shouldn't they have the option of just buying one team's games?
Yes.
And it wouldn't need to cost 1/30th of what the package costs. It could cost more like 1/3.
Yeah.
And I wonder if people wouldn't do that. I haven't yet thought of a reason why that Major League Baseball wouldn't want you to do that. I like that idea, though. You should just, if Greg wants to watch Texas, that he could just buy the Texas games for the whole year at whatever, like $50 or something like that. What's the total thing cost? $300? It's a lot.
It's at least $2, I think.
It's a lot now.
$225 maybe comes to mind. Yeah, I don't. I buy it every year, and you know what I watch every night. I mean, it's nice to know that if I really want to, I can go watch Vin Scully do the Dodger game. But it was a miracle I stayed up last night to watch a playoff hockey game that late. I mean, I'm not up watching the Dodgers at 11 o'clock at night. I mean, it just isn't happening.